Hello, it's that time again. It's yet another Sunday, and this is Transforming Lives with Mushekwa on Monati TV, your #1 business and finance TV channel. To all our viewers that are tuned in today, it's a warm welcome to our show today. So, here we start. Last week, we actually did learn of this little girl, this lone child without brothers, without sisters. And, well, at least we can say now she has some friends, the friends that she had from school as we established last week. So in short, at least that covers her gap, the gap of missing a sister. Her friends are more like sisters to her. But yet again, there's a missing feel. And the missing feel is a feel of a brother, what would it be like to have a brother? So now, she wants to have a brother. So I'm in grade 9 now, and I'm at a co-education school, and the school for boys and girls. Luckily, the goodness with those schools is that they actually teach kids to learn how to interact amongst themselves, boys against girls. So it's a good thing I'm at a co-education school. So I'm in grade 9, and the grade 9s of today and the grade 9s of my time. I'm not so old, but the grade 9s of my time and the ones for today, they were really not the same. So in my time when we were in grade 9, the only people that had phones were our parents, and also the type of phones they had are those we actually would term Roger Rogers, the one with an aerial. So those are the kind of phones that our parents had. So even if this sneaky child goes on that phone, no internet. In short, we were not exposed like the grade 9 of today. We were very innocent. So in our innocence, we used to play with our classmates, whether they're boys or girls, would play with them like they're just brothers and sisters. So here I am, I'm in grade 9, and of course, I have some 2 little male friends. They were very good friends of mine in class, and we actually lived on the street, For those people that grew up in Mazabuka, or at least actually lived there, specifically if you stayed on Zambia Sugar Estate, much more specific, staff area. So that area has streets named. So me and my friends, we used to stay on the street that was called Chirundu Way. There was Lower Chirundu, there was Upper Chirundu, and Midway. So when we were staying there, me and my friends were actually staying in the same street. So we used to visit each other a lot, me and my male friends. They were like brothers to me, like where maybe I would leave my place, go to my one friend, then pick him up, we go see our other friend in Upper Chirundu, and we'll spend our time together. What we used to talk about, I can't remember. All I know is that those 2 little male friends were close to me, One of them, I remember by their place, they had peaches, so sometimes you sit there, eat some peaches, chat, whatever we'll chat about, I can't remember. So, well, having been so close to these 2 little male friends of mine who were apparently my classmates, even in class, we just used to sit next to each other, the 2 of them in front, me and my girlfriend behind. So that's how close we were. I got so comfortable with them, and I thought, oh, these are like my brothers, So out of nowhere, I picked on one of them. I don't know why. But then I just said, hey, I want you to be my brother. So he looked shocked. He didn't say anything for or against. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, green light. Impliedly, I thought, oh, I could actually call him my brother, So, well, this is where the story gets interesting, and we'll pick it up. Let's just take our first commercial for now. We pay our bills for today, and after the break, catch me for more exciting story. We'll be right back.
The summit will attract local and internationally acclaimed speakers and is scheduled for the tourist capital, the land of the Great Mosotunya. at the Avani Victoria Falls Resort.
This year's summit is very important because now than ever before, should we come together and look at issues that are going to move not only Zambia's economy, but economies of sub-Saharan countries out of this COVID-induced economic downswing.
We've seen how we've had disruptions in operations, disruptions in supply chain because we had to close down our borders. We've had to, downscale on mining because of the threat of the COVID. I think with all those now as learning curves, we now have reason to believe that we can still emerge now and be winners through smart ways of mining, through smart ways of conducting business.
We created a platform where we can have interaction and provide various solutions for our current economic challenges.
This summit is aimed at creating wealth, creating sustainable wealth that will ensure that going forward, our economies are going to be resilient in order for us to achieve a much anticipated Vision 2030 that plans to bring basic necessities to all citizens without leaving anyone behind.
The COVID-19 pandemic is imposing economic and broader development challenges as never seen before. We have encountered job losses, reduced income, and lack of access to basic needs, and this has pushed some people into extreme poverty. It is against this background that the Economics Association of Zambia recognizes that the task of finding solutions to our economic aspirations is an inclusive one, and therefore the EAZ will partner with various stakeholders such as the civil society, the government, and the private sector in actualizing.
Please come and join us. Come to Livingstone. All roads lead to Livingstone. EAZ National Economic Summit on a piece of history.
This National Economic Summit will be officially graced by His Excellency
Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu, President of the Republic of Zambia.
And for more information, email us on secretariat@eazambia.org or call us on +260 211 24.
Welcome back. So this is Monati TV, and this is Transforming Lives with Mushekwa. So we pick it up. So here's a boy, and I'm telling him, I want you to be my brother. Okay. So, well, because he doesn't say anything, for me it's a green light. It's, oh, I have a brother. Now, whether that feeling was actually so real and so deep that I really needed a brother, or whether I was just being a child, well, I don't know, But I think for real, there must have been, a wonder, like, what would it be like to have a brother, And yeah, I think I would wonder what it would be like. And since I knew, well, I'm not getting any brother, so I just imposed one, and said, I want you to be my brother. So now, what used to happen is when we're at school, of course, that would only happen when it's break time, So when it's break time, people have time to joke around, play around, and then I'll be there, oh, my brother, I would actually announce it to the whole class that, that he's my brother. I'm tempted to mention his name, but anyway. So I would always say, oh, my brother, how are you, So, well, at first, it really was not much of a problem. He would just play along with it, not really responsive, but just, didn't show like he was bothered by me calling him a brother. So it was something that was very exciting for me, actually, to say, wow, I actually have a brother, Yeah. But then, well, the excitement didn't last so long because, in as much as we were so innocent, as I had said it, well, I think we're different in nature, girls and boys, so maybe in his nature, even if we were innocent, it wasn't right for him to have this girl calling him brother, and imagine it's a boy, he's with his fellow guys, and someone is calling him my brother, would obviously think as if maybe they're being demeaned, like maybe he's not less of a man, like why would it be so reduced to being a brother? So it really didn't sit in so well after a while because one day he just said, he blurted out actually, and he just said, "I'm not your brother." So there I was outside. I said, he said he's not my brother. So, I was with one of the girls, my classmates. One of them luckily was slightly older than us. So, yeah. She said, "No, you can't call him brother." So I'm like, "Why not? But he feels like a brother to me, like we always hang out like that." And she just had to explain it to me to say, "No, you can't call him a brother because he's a man." I said, okay. It still didn't make sense. But guess what? That was the last day I actually called him my brother. But, in a nutshell, again, just coming to think about it, like, why did I just pick him, Because we were classmates and we had other boys in the same class. The reason is probably, and they were actually two close male friends of mine. But why I just inclined to him, impliedly, even without saying, I had a feeling that he actually was like a brother to me, because without saying, he actually cared like a brother, This is someone who would be there for me, someone who would actually, show concern for me without even saying it. So for me, it felt like I actually do have a brother. Perhaps what was wrong was to actually just come out and say, "I want you to be my brother," Maybe that was wrong, demeaning a man to that level. But in a nutshell, he really felt like one because he was acting like one to me, So here I am and I'm wondering, okay, it felt good to have a brother, But then after that experience, I realized that, okay, I might have people that are there for me, and in certain circumstances, like in this circumstance, it was really not necessary to actually just come out and say, I want you to be my brother. But through actions, he was a brother to me. Out of everyone in that class, he's the one that was more of a brother to me because all he did was care for me, like I'm his little sister, and all he did was being there for me. So what we can pick from this is that sometimes we really need to pay attention. Sometimes there's so many things that people can actually tell you without saying it. Sometimes we need to pray for grace, for grace to open up our eyes to be able to see things which the mouth cannot say. In short, what I'm saying is that there are certain times when we're going to have people that actually do care for us, but because we don't see it, our focus is on trying to see people that we feel, I want that one to care for me. But if we ask for grace for our eyes to be more open, we're going to see that there are actually people out there who genuinely care for us. They are there. While we are there busy trying to focus and forcing people, care is a gift. Just like grace is a gift, care is also a gift. Care is not something that you go chasing after, forcefully trying to get. Care is something that is just given to you. And if you really, really do pay attention, there is a lot of care around you. It's there. We just need to ask for grace for God to open our eyes to be able to see the care, the gift of care that is actually there for us. So this is something that I learned, that even in that moment of time, I was just young, but I could see care from this particular little boy who was a friend of mine. And genuinely, I was given that gift. Perhaps my way of appreciating that gift that he was giving, the gift of care, the gift of being a brother, was just for me to actually pick it out and say, "You are my brother." It's not easy for someone to actually say that. It's because they've really seen something about you, because they say blood is thicker than water, So for me to have actually felt that he's a brother, meaning it was more than friendship. So when we really do pay attention, care is there, and that gift of care is there for us. We just need to open our eyes and see it so that we can receive it from the people that are giving it to us. So we'll take another break and we'll be right back and we'll see what else happened. Catch me after the break. Welcome back. This is Transforming Lives with Mushekwa on your #1 TV channel, Monati TV. So, you know, when I went to high school, well, I left most of the friends that I was with when I was in junior secondary. So when I went to high school, you know, it was a new chapter for me. And, well, first time being in a boarding school, very far away from home in another town, Livingston, left Mazabuka. So I'm in high school and, well, exposed to new people, you know. So it was a very nice journey for me, you know, an interactive journey to say, oh, okay, new friends, new people, new place. So when I was in grade 10 and out of nowhere, I met this girl. Funny enough, me and that girl were not even in the same class. You know, that school we're at was Hillcrest Secondary Technical High School. And it was such a big school because grade 10s are like had 8 classes of them, you know, all the way up to grade 12. So we were not even in the same class to start with. We're not even in the same dorm, you know. So one time, the funny part is when it was prep time, they would group the girls to say, okay, all the grade 10 girls, you're going to study from this class and this class. So if one class is full, then the other group will go and study from the other class. So coincidentally, because of that arrangement, prep time arrangement, I happened to meet this girl. So that girl used to amaze me, you know, because she was such a tomboy. Every time when I in pre-prim and was studying, she would just walk in, you know, for her school uniform. her skirt, when she's in her skirt, her shirt was just long, you know, almost like half the skirt was how long her shirt was. She wouldn't even tuck in. Maybe she would fold some sleeves and she would just walk, you know, just bouncing around. So it was amazing to see what's so interesting about this girl. You know, she was in this world where she was just herself. So that girl caught my attention. And you know, when you're kids, the very best way to become friends, obviously, you have to write a note. That's how it was those times, you know. So I wrote a little note. I scribbled. I said, "Hey, my name is Mushekwa. I think I like you." And I passed over that note to her because I didn't even know her name, you know. So she read. Apparently, I don't know. Maybe she used to notice me as well. But she responded and she said, "Hey, my name is Lillian. I like you too." And guess what? That's how our friendship started. So this little girl, Lillian, was, you know, I loved her. I loved her tomboy thing, you know. She was such a good friend of mine. Just from that very moment, imagine we're not sharing a dorm, we're not even sharing a class, but we've just become friends. That was like, wow. She became so close, such that, you know, she actually started calling me a funny name, you know, like every time she's announcing her arrival in our dorm, she would announce it all the way from the door. If you just hear someone shouting, "Mushekwa," I'm like, oh my gosh, she's here. She had a very funny way of calling my name, and I would just go, "Oh, she's here." So even as we were growing up, you know, that was when we were in grade 10. We went to grade 11, we were still friends. We went to grade 12, we were still friends. We finished our grade 12, we went to college, we were still friends. Sometimes, just sometimes, if we really pay attention, we really do meet the right people for us in our journey. It might look like it was just a little note that I wrote to say, "Hey, I like you." But maybe that was our destiny, you know, to meet in that manner and to actually, you know, achieve much more. Up to today, I can tell you, me and that little girl are still friends. And not just mere friends. We are still close friends. And to me, she's one person who's a sister I never had. We grew up, we went to college. We went to the same college. Me and that girl never discussed to say, "Oh, okay, what are we going to study? Let's study this. No. It just so happened because, like I said, we didn't have phones those times. And she was from Lusaka, I was from Mazabuka. So for me, where I was there, I just decided, oh, well, I want to be a chartered accountant. So I'm going to start studying my accountancy. And I came to Lusaka. And I start college at a school where apparently she also begins from there. And guess what? She's also doing accountancy. And I'm like, oh, okay, wow. So that's how we met, and that's how we rekindled our friendship again. And both of us were studying accountancy, except it was different types of accountancy. You know, there's Zika, there's ACCA. So she was doing Zika, I was doing ACCA. And apparently when we stayed there, we moved to another school. We said, okay, let's try boarding for college, because that was like a day school. We went to a boarding school. We moved together. That's like, those are friends for keeps, if we would say that. From a little note, just a little note to say, hey, I like you. You know, sometimes when you feel driven to do something, just take action and do it. If I was so filled up with myself to say, this girl also, anyway, I like her, but it's okay. If I never took the step of actually just putting it down to say, hey, I like you, you know. Sometimes when you are really driven to do something, just go for it. Because that is the vision that has been put in you. What is driving you is actually something that has been put in you to achieve something. So if you feel driven to do something, just go for it. It might be your calling. You know, after we finished our college, I actually started working earlier than her. And I started working in Dola, and she was still in Lusaka. You can imagine this is a friend who would actually leave her parents' home and tell them, I'm going to Ndola to visit my friend, and her allow her to actually come and visit me. What kind of friendship is that? That kind of friendship is rare, and all from just a little note. When you feel driven to do something, just go for it, because that might be your calling. We'll continue our story after the break. Catch me. We'll be right back.
The summit will attract local and internationally acclaimed speakers and is scheduled for the tourist capital, the land of the Great Mosotunya, at the Avani Victoria Falls Resort.
This year's summit is very important because now than ever before, should we come together and look at issues that are going to move not only Zambia's economy, but economies of sub-Saharan countries out of this COVID-induced economic downslope.
We've seen how we've had disruptions in operations, disruptions in supply chain because we had to close down our borders. We've had to, downscale on mining because of the threat of the COVID. I think with all those now as learning curves, we now have reason to believe that we can still emerge now and be winners through smart ways of mining, through smart ways of conducting business.
We created a platform where we can have interaction and provide various solutions for our current economic challenges.
This summit is aimed at creating wealth, creating sustainable wealth that will ensure that going forward, our economies are going to be resilient in order for us to achieve a much anticipated Vision 2030 that plans to bring basic necessities to all citizens without leaving anyone behind.
The COVID-19 pandemic is imposing economic and broader development challenges as never seen before. We have encountered job losses, reduced income, and lack of access to basic needs, and this has pushed some people into extreme poverty. It is against this background that the Economics Association of Zambia recognizes that the task of finding solutions to our economic aspirations is an inclusive one, and therefore the EAZ will partner with various stakeholders such as the civil society, the government, and the private sector in actualizing.
Please come and join us. Come to Livingstone. All roads lead to Livingstone. EAZ National Economic Summit on a piece of history.
This National Economic Summit will be officially graced by His Excellency
Dr. Edgar Chagwa, President of the Republic of Zambia.
And for more information, email us on secretariat@eazambia.org or call us on +260 211 24 2088.
Hello and welcome back. This is Transforming Lives with Mushekwa on Monati TV, your #1 business and finance TV channel. So, we did say that we should ask for grace. You know, sometimes we need to ask for grace for God to open our eyes to be able to see the care that is around us. For God to be able to direct us to see the direction that we're supposed to go. I'm so grateful that I had the grace to see a friend in someone that I didn't even know. We had nothing in common with, not sharing a dorm, not sharing a class. That was all grace that my eyes opened, and they opened to meet someone like that. If I tell you today, I can actually go to Lillian's place, you know. She doesn't live there anymore. She's married. She has her own home. But I can go to her father's place, her father and mother's house. I can sleep over there. That's the kind of grace we're talking about. That's the kind of family that I found there. Because it was normal for me, if I'm in Doland, I visit Lusaka, you know, the time I say working, I would just go to Lillian's place. And her father was just like a father to me. Her mom just like a mom to me. Her family is just like family to me. We thank God for that grace. And anyone who asks for grace to be able to see beyond what our eyes can see will be directed to be able to attain things that our eyes cannot see. So we're saying we should ask for God to direct us to see. What happens after we see? Well, let's focus on those that are there for us. When we keep our focus on those that are there for us, those are the ones that are going to lift us up. Because I'm telling you, the family that I found in this friend of mine, Lillian, made me feel part of a family. It made me have brothers that I didn't have. It made me have sisters that I didn't have. It added on to my family. So what's going to happen is let's focus on those that are there for us. Because genuinely, like I said, there are people that care for us. We just have to see it. You know, when you're so much focused on why isn't this person liking me? You know, when you're so much focused on why is this person treating me so badly? When you're so much focused on why doesn't my boss like me? If you keep your focus on everything that is going wrong, you're going to take all your focus on that, and you're going to shut yourself from seeing the care that actually is there for you. Like we said, care is a gift. It's given to you. It's not even something that you go chasing after. So when we focus on those that are there for us, we're going to feel a warmth in us. We're going to feel a warmth of love in us. And once you have those feelings of warmth and love, they will push you up to being a better person. When you're busy focusing on people who don't, understand you, and when you're busy focusing on trying to make people understand you, you're busy focusing on wondering why is everything not going right for me, you're going to be drained. You're going to remain on negative. And what will happen is that you won't see positive. I'm here to tell you that when you keep your mind positive, you will see good things about your life. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. When you keep your mind positive, you will see positive things in your life. There's no one, no matter how successful they are, there's no one that has had it easy. There's no one that is immune from problems. Every time, every human being is always lacking something, We want people that are, maybe you say, no, I need a car. Okay. You buy a car. Guess what? It won't be long. You're tired of that car. You want to buy something else. Maybe I need another car. No, I can't drive this Toyota. Maybe I need to upgrade. I need a BMW now, Next thing you want to upgrade to another car. Well, always just not satisfied. But when you keep that, where you're always not satisfied, if you just keep on the track of always not being satisfied, you'll end up being negative. Sometimes you can just be satisfied and see positives and say, okay, even if I don't have this, but I do have this. You understand? Focus on what you do have, and say, well, even if I don't have, a good job, but at least I do have something. And the more you're becoming content, or should we say grateful, the more you're becoming grateful, the more you're going to add on what you have. That's just how it works. But if you're always just negative, the more negative you are, the more you'll be subtracting, okay? The more you'll be subtracting from what you have. But the more grateful you are, no matter how little that thing is, no matter what situation you're in, the more grateful that you are, the more things will be added unto you. I'm so grateful to say that God has been there for me, I'm so grateful to say that. And I'm going to encourage everyone that always ask God to be your guide. Because no matter the situation, God knows, doesn't He? He knows. So, if you're there complaining, will it make it any better to start with? No, it doesn't make it any better. But if you are grateful, because God still knows your situation, but if you are grateful, you're going to receive even more. So catch me after the break as we come and conclude and wrap up our story for today. This is Transforming Lives with Mushekwa. We will be right back. Welcome back. Would like to say thank you to our viewers, those who are still tuned in after this time. Hope you're having a wonderful show, Transforming Lives with Mushekwa, and hope what we've discussed so far has been something transformational to you. Remember, we said when you have something pushing you to do something, you know, it's really pushing you to do something, just go for it. We discovered also that sometimes we need to open our eyes, but well, in our human form, it's not so easy to do that. So this is the part where we say you need grace. And how do you get that grace? You need to seek it. Sometimes always ask God to open your eyes, so that you may see things that are of your calling, because you will just not guess what your calling is. But when God opens your eyes, you'll be able to know, oh, this is where I should go. In fact, it just comes. It just comes. You won't even know. You'll just find yourself having a direction towards your calling. So we need to ask for grace that God may open our eyes into the direction of our calling. We've also learned that it is very, very important to be grateful in life, grateful for what we have. Content. There are certain things, of course, you shouldn't be content about, just comfortable, you know. You need to always aim to do better, to be better. But what we're saying is that there are certain things where you cannot change a situation, and you need to be content with that. For instance, I was there hoping I could have a brother in someone, but you know what? He could never be my brother, really, you know, as in, even if I wanted a brother, but it couldn't really be as a brother, you know. So we need to be content. I learned that I needed to be content in the fact that that's just how I was born, you know. And even if I was born like that, I didn't have a brother, I didn't have a sister, it doesn't mean that I was not receiving love from people who actually were more sisters to me and brothers to me, maybe than I ever needed. We've talked of that brother of mine, impliedly I had, who has been a brother even up to today. Even up to today, he still looks out for me. And he says, no, not Mushekwa. He still looks up for me up to today. So whether I had a blood brother or not is really not of importance. What is important is that I had the care that I needed. God put everything in place for me because he opened up my eyes. It's just grace. It needs grace for you to be able to see things like that. And well, also, we've said that we should focus on those that are there for us. Because when we focus on those that are there for us, those will help us to build us up. Because, I mean, if you're chasing someone that's not there for you, for starters, are they building you up or are they actually pulling you down? You'll find that they're draining you because what you're doing is just chasing after them. Hey, why don't you show me care? Hey, why don't you respect me? Hey, why, you know, they're draining you. But when they are there, those that actually care for you, you know, you'll find you feel loved and they'll actually be lifting you up to do even greater things. So our lessons today have been very, very important in that we need to be able to go for it. Whatever it is in life, just go for it. Even as we'll be coming down to the end of our show today, I want to remind our viewers that our program today is sponsorship. And if you're looking to sponsor us, please, you can see the numbers that are running on the screen, the email addresses there. Would really be grateful if you're able to sponsor our program. And also next week, please tune in again because we have a very special guest. You'll get to learn of the guest if you tune in next week, so make sure you actually do tune in. And also, just to close it up, this is to say thank you to everyone that has tuned in today, and I hope you have been transformed, or at least you're going to apply what you've learned today. I'm not much of a wise person, maybe it's just a gift that was given, but I hope my lessons have been helpful and impactful to you. This has been Transforming Lives with Mushekwa, comes to you every Sunday on Monati TV, your #1 business and finance TV channel. I hope to see you again next week, same time. Thank you very much.